Hello everybody, it's Ronnie with Whip and Chain. Today we're going to be making this absolutely beautiful Christmas tree skirt. Okay, to make this beautiful tree skirt, we need 6 hexagons. Now you have a choice when you're doing this. If you like your tree skirt to cover the stand of your tree and it doesn't flow out a lot, you could do 5 and it would just drape nicely over your tree stand. Me personally, I don't mind my tree stand showing, so I want it around the tree stand, not draping over, but it is a personal choice. So you can either make 5 to drape over your tree stand, or you can make 6. I'm choosing 6, and I am choosing like I'm doing 3 different colors. Like this white one, this is just white. It has the metallic sparkle in it. It's Hobby Lobby yarn, which is my favorite. Just saying, my favorite. But what I'm doing is I'm doing a white one, a green one, and a red one. And then I'm going to just alternate them around. So I'll do 2 green, 2 red, 2 white. Okay. And to get started on this beautiful project, and it really goes fast, believe it or not, you will need a crochet hook. I am using a 5.5 millimeter one. I do recommend that one. And you will need darning needles. You will need a pair of scissors. Okay. So I'm going to try to finish up my old white. It's the same white. I just lost its label a long time ago, probably. But it's the same Hobby Lobby yarn. So to get started, I am going to strongly recommend the magic ring, magic circle to start this. But if you just struggle with it, which is really okay, you can chain 5. No, chain 4. You need a tighter circle. Chain 4, slip stitch to the first stitch, and then chain 2. If you're doing the magic ring, you already chained 1 to do the magic ring. So I just need to chain 1 more. Okay. Let me bring you in here. And then I need you to do a double crochet in the same circle. Then chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do a double crochet 2 together. It's like a little cluster. So you wrap your hook, you go in, grab some yarn, bring it up, wrap, go through excuse me, go through 2 and stop. Wrap again, go back in, grab more yarn, bring it up, wrap, go through 2, wrap, and go through all 3. That's a double crochet cluster, 2 together, double crochet cluster. Then you chain 3, and you do that again. So you wrap the hook, go in, grab some yarn, bring it up, wrap, go through 2, wrap, go back in, bring some yarn up, wrap, go through 2, and you wrap, and you go through all 3. Then you chain 3. So you will need 6 total of these clusters. We did 3. Let's do 1 more together. Wrap your hook, go in, bring it up, wrap, go through 2. Wrap, go through, come on up, wrap, go through 2, wrap, go through 3, and then chain 3. So now we have 4, so we just need 2 more. All right, when you have 6, chain 3 and slip stitch to the top of that cluster, not in the chain 2. And then you want to pull this tight. Okay, that's what you should have right now. Okay, so we slip stitch over to the chain 3 area, chain 2, put in a double crochet. Now the chain 2 and the double crochet is considered the first cluster. That's how you start your next row. So it'll always be a chain 2 and then a double crochet. Okay, so we have to make our corners in all these. So let's show you how to make a corner. In the corners, you will always chain 3 and then put another cluster in. The same cluster I taught you. But when you're skipping, when you're chaining in between, like your runway here, you only chain 2. So let's do a cluster. Chain 3 and another cluster. But now we're jumping, so it's a chain 2. Go in. Chain 3. Now we're jumping to our next one, so it's a chain 2. Chain 3 and another cluster. Jumping, chain 2. Staying in the same one, it's a chain 3. Jumping, chain 2, and do our last one. Chain 2, and before you attach to the first one, you're jumping, so it's a chain 2, and then you slip stitch to the top of that first real cluster. And if you take a minute to look, you're already forming your hexagon. Yeah, kind of cool, huh? All right. Now this next row, it's going to be a repeat. So you chain 2. Oops, sorry. You slip stitch to your chain area first. Now you chain 2 and you double crochet. Remember, that's how you start each row. So we're in a corner. This is a corner. So we chain 2 and we put our second one in. We're skipping, so it's a chain 2. Now this is considered our runway. Okay? Because this is our next corner where the 2 are. So in our runway, we just put in 1 cluster. And you chain 2. And now you're in the corner, so you do 2 clusters. Chain 3. Because you're in the corner, and a cluster. Chain 2, It's our runway, just one cluster. Chain 2, corner. So the corner is a cluster. A cluster, chain 3, and a cluster. Chain 2, runway, one cluster. Chain 2, corner again. Chain 3, because we're staying on the same one. Chain 2, runway, chain 2, corner, chain 3 because we're staying in it, chain 2, runway, chain 2, it's a corner, now as you do more rows, your runway's obviously going to keep getting larger and larger. But after this row, you can really see your octagon, your hexagon forming. So after you do your last runway, you should be able to chain 2 and you slip stitch to the top of the real stitch. Now, see, hexagon's really forming. So if you look at my red one, it just keeps growing, and we're right here. Right there. So it'll just keep growing. So what you're going to do is you need total of 10 completed rows. So I've completed 1, 2, and 3. So if you look on my red one, I did row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 with my doggy hair on it. So 10 rows. Now, you can do any color scheme that you want. I chose to do mine this way. Since we are attaching them together, if you don't want your joining to be very noticeable, you're gonna want to stick with the same border color on all of them, but it's totally your choice. You can use variegated yarn all the way through. You can use what I did, 2 colors, like I did the Christmas colors, 1 row of the Christmas colors. Then when I did my border, I stuck to 1 solid color. You can do this however you like, and I would love to see your color choices. It amazes me how good everybody is at doing different color schemes and how you can make the same projects look totally different. I love that about you guys. So I have made 2 reds, 2 greens, 1 white. So I'm going to be doing the last white one with you. So I'm going to return back after I have my 10 rows. Because after your 10 rows, then we change our stitches for this 1 row. Then we change our stitches for these rows. If you can see, these are back loop only. That's where you get that nice border shelving going on. So we're going to meet back after you get your 10 rows done. And I'm going to tell you how to do this next row. Okay. Now, after you get your 10 rows, just make sure you count them correctly, because I'd hate to see you do the next row and only have 9 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there's 10 rows. It should lay perfectly nice and flat for you. And now we're going to put on the next row. It's only one row, but in case anybody wants to know what yarn I'm using for this row, I got this also at Hobby Lobby, believe it or not. And I think I bought this like last year, but I think they have the color again this year, called Christmas Print. I'm just doing one row with this color. It's a quick changing variegated yarn. So when I initially considered using this yarn to do the whole project, for me, this is for me, I just felt it might be just a little too busy. That's me. All right, so now the next row is quite easy. I'm going to get you started, and you can take it from there. And did I make a boo-boo? I think I made a boo-boo. Look. So I have my 2 here, but look, I skipped doing a double. So I'm going to fix that, but I'm going to pull this out and fix it because that's what I need to do. But first I am going to show you what to do with this row. And then when we come back, we'll all be on the same page. Sometimes when I'm watching TV and crocheting, I lose my thought process. All right, so I do not make a slip knot. And you can start in any corner that you want, the one where you have the 2. Okay, so just slip it on. You don't need to leave a really long tail. So I just chain 2. Then in this corner where your two clusters are, I want you to put in 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so in every corner you put in 5 double crochets, and in every chain place you put in 2 double crochets, and that is all this row is. So in every chain you put in 2 double crochets, and every corner you just put in 5 double crochets, and that's as easy as this row is. So you would just keep doing 2 doubles, 2 doubles, 2 doubles, 2 doubles till you got to this one. Then you would put 5 doubles in. You go around, do it once, and if you're doing the same color scheme as me, you will tie off. Okay, I'll see you at the end of that one. Okay, here we are back. Now I ended up pulling out my 2 rows and fixing them because it's really, really important that all your squares, whether you're doing 5 or 6, are the exact same shape for them to be able to connect to each other. So here it is. This is my 10 rows, and then my 11th row with the color. The last 3 rows I am using loops and threads, and it is Ivy. I'm trying this yarn. I don't know if it's new. I go to Michael's. Michael's is very close to me. I always will prefer Hobby Lobby's, but I'm trying this one out. I don't know how new this is, but I don't remember seeing this brand, and I thought I'd give it a shot. It's definitely a lot softer than some of the other brands that they carry, but when I compare this to Hobby Lobby's totally wins hands down for me. But this one is coming in probably a close second. But anyway, so now we have 3 more rows to go. I'm going to show you how to do the first one. I'm going to leave you to the last 2 rows, and then all we have to do is connect it. Then you have a beautiful, absolutely beautiful skirt for your tree. So now the next 3 rows are in single crochet. We're not doing the clusters, we're not doing double crochet. The last 3 rows are single crochet, but it's back loop only. So I'm going to squeeze you in here so you can see a little more. Now, I don't start in the corner on this row because of the aesthetics, the joining part. Even though it's really not noticeable, I'm very funny about doing the best I can to get things where they're not noticeable. So anyway, pick a stitch along one of your runways and then just put your hook in the back loop only, just the back loop. Okay, so I'm going to pick right here. I'm going to come through and I'm going to chain 1. In that same stitch of the back loop, put a single crochet. And I do want to make a suggestion. Do not make these real tight because it's going to be hard for you. Make them not like loosey-goosey, but use a little bit of yarn while you do it. So now you're done a single crochet, back loop only, until you get to the corner here. Now the corner is 5 double crochets. All right, corner is 5 double crochets. You gotta find the middle one. So these are the 2 outside, these are the next 2, and here's the center one. So basically you want to find the 3rd stitch. All right, 3rd stitch for me is this one. So I'm going to do another single. I got my dog hair everywhere. I'm going to do another single crochet. And here is my middle stitch. In this stitch, I'm going to put in 3 single crochets. Only back loop. Okay. And then you're going to just come on down, single crocheting, always in the back loops only, until you come to your next corner with the 5 double crochets. And then when you get to the center one, you put in 3 double crochets. So you're going to do that. So I would come down, back loop, back loop, back loop. Here's my center one right here. I'm going to put 3 single crochets in that back loop. Okay, so we're going to do 2 rows of like that, where the center one gets 3 single crochets and the rest just get a single crochet in the back loop only. 2 rows. And when you come around here to join, make sure you slip stitch to that first single crochet. Okay, so this will be 1 row. Then we'll do it again. The last row. Now remember, all 3 of these rows are back loop only. The 3rd row, your final row, when you find, like, see how we did 3 stitches in there, you'll use the center stitch on the 2nd row. And then on the 3rd row, you'll have 3 in here. Well, the 2nd row, you do the 3. When you do the 3rd row, when you get to the center of your corner, instead of putting 3 single crochets, you'll put 2 single crochets. And then finish that row, and then this is done. And so again, 2 rows of putting 3 single crochets in the corners. And then last row, when you get in the corner, the center one, you only put 2 single crochets in. And then you need 5 of these if you wanted to drape over the stand of the Christmas tree. If you wanted to lay flat, I would recommend 6. Now, what I did is I did 3 colors. I did red and green and white. So I did 2 red, 2 green, 2 white. You can use any color scheme you want. You can change the colors when you want. I would love to see everybody's designs and what choices they made for their color schemes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this up, meet back. I'm going to show you how to join these and how to finish it off. We'll see in a little bit. Okay, the next part we're going to be working on is doing the seaming of these, but this is the angle that you're going to want for your Christmas tree skirt. Okay, here we are. We're going to be doing the seaming. It's going to be just a standard slip stitch. I'm sure you saw the clip right before this of what it's supposed to look like. If you need to, you can pause that section so you can see a little better. But the gist of it is, when you're hooking, when you're seaming your sides, let me see if you can see this a little better, moving you here. When you're seaming, the center part is only going to have one side showing. So when you add the next piece, you want to put it on the side where there's only one side showing. So the whole hexagon is going to have just one side of these beautiful hexagon squares that you made. I hope that makes sense. So see, this is one side, this is one side. And then I did already do these, but see, and here's one side, and so forth and so forth. If you need a little more instruction on that, please let us know in the comments and I will help you out with that. No worries. That's what I'm here for. So now let's talk about a couple things with hooking these up. What I do, we're all human beings and we all make mistakes, and sometimes they just happen, especially with crocheting. But the nice thing about crocheting is that you can fudge your way if it's a little bit off. And the reason I'm talking about that is because of this. Let me move my stuff. I'm joining, if you can see, I'm joining my squares on the side where I started and ended my final rows. See the seam here. Then if we go down to this one, here's the seam here. Then on the red one, did I do the red one? Maybe not there. Where's my seam on the red? I know I'm not perfect. Oh, here's my seam on the red one. And then when I go back down to my next one, here's my seam right here. So, and the reason I'm suggesting this to you, and then see, here's my seam here. The reason I'm suggesting this to you now is this is an easy part to adjust to make your seam look good. When we're going to be stitching the center, it's going to make it really difficult with the counts that you need to do and the 2 together and the 3 together to fudge. So this is the spot to quote fudge if you need to. And that's why I love doing these crochet videos, because nobody wants to talk about if you added a stitch or if you dropped a stitch or how do you make it work even if you messed up 3 rows down. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for all those questions and all the ones that you can throw at me. And trust me, if I don't know the answer, I will find it. Okay? So this is the perfect time to seam your edges where you started and ended on your final 3 rows. It's a great suggestion. If you don't want to do it, that's absolutely your choice. 200%. It's just a suggestion. So now you want to hook them all together except the last 2, unless you know you're going to put your tree skirt over the stand before you put your tree in. It's just knowing me, if I hook all the sides together, I'm going to forget to put it on. So on the last, we can put cute little buttons on there, or you can put Velcro on there. You could put snaps on there just to bring it together. There's no rule saying you can't. All the tree skirts that I had growing up, it had that slit in it, and it would, with the trees and the kids and the presents, and it would get all fumbled up. So if you put a couple decorative buttons on there, it's not going to. Or you can put a very light strip of Velcro on there. It's up to you. I personally am going to do Velcro. That's me. But you can do whatever you want. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. That's the glory of making your own projects. So let's talk about seaming. Please make sure when you're putting these together, look for the ridges to make sure you have the right sides up. You do not want to have one turned upside down, because then you won't see this beautiful edging that you did on your final rows. So, getting your edges together, I am going to suggest what I did. I don't know if this is going to make sense to you. I hope it does. I put a stitch marker, you know, the two single crochets you put in the corner. I put my stitch marker in the one farthest away from me to the left, because those are the two stitches that you're going to be crocheting in when you work on the center. But we will not be joining in those two. You will join in the two to your right, how to think. And then down here, I put this stitch marker in the left stitch of the right and left. There's two crochets. So this one I put it in the left. Yeah, this one I put in the left. And this one I also put in the left because we're not crocheting in it now, but when we do the center part, you will be. I'm leaving this stitch marker in so I know where those two center stitches are, because I have to struggle to find them every time. And we're going to just be doing a simple slip stitch. Now, when you have your stitch markers in here, I'm going to suggest that you count how many stitches you have on each one. You have 28 and 27. Maybe you have 25 and 27. Know your stitch counts, because I'm going to show you the tricks on how to bring, you know, if you have to decrease a stitch to, because you have too many stitches, the stitch numbers don't match. So let me show you how to do that. And I'm grabbing the same green yarn that I had, but I didn't count. So I'm going to count. I'm going to count the one that the stitch marker's in on this side. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. Don't count the one that it's in. So I have 29 down here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 6, 7, 28. I'm glad. So I have one more stitch back here than I do up here. So somewhere in the middle, I'm going to consolidate 2 in there so they would get even. All right. So start with your standard, leave yourself a tail, start with your slip knot. Now, in the, all right, I'm going to make sure I'm doing this right. In your first stitch, go into the back loop of the one that's closest to you. The back loop of the one that's farthest away from you. And then the one that you're joining, slip into the one that is closest to you. Okay. Wrap your hook and pull through both of those stitches and chain 1. Now I want you to go back into those same ones. Just put your loop in, your hook in. There we go. Grab yarn, come on through, and then just slip stitch. Starting is the hardest part. I had to get my glasses. Oh, can't see without them. Okay. So then you go again in the back loop that's farthest away. I would tuck your tail down. And then you go into the loop that's closest to you. Grab some yarn, come through, and slip right through. So you just do this. Now, if you have more than one extra stitch, say you have 3, I would do a join up here, join in the middle, 2 together, and then one down here, like spread it out for you. Make sure you're working on the right side of your project when you're doing this. This is a really nice seam. Okay. Now remember, my extra stitches are on the green one. So put your loop, your hook through the first one that you're not doing to combine. On the next one, put your hook in the back loop. Then you bring it down and go under the next stitch and bring it in that back loop too. Then you grab yarn, you go through, make sure you go through both of those stitches and bring it all the way through and slip stitch. And that is how you combine 2. Now, if it's on the one that's closer to you, you do the same thing, but you do it in the loop you're supposed to, like right here. See, I need to combine down here, go through the first one, and go around and go through the next stitch. That is combining 2 of them together. And that is all you have to do to get your stitch count back to where you need it. It looks much better than skipping stitches. When you skip stitches, it tends to be very noticeable. Maybe that's me because I look for the imperfections on my work. That's my heaters going. I apologize. It's getting cold here in Pennsylvania. And let us know where everybody's from that are watching our videos. Let me know where you're from. Comment below. We have a wonderful Facebook group that you're welcome to join. It's called Whip and Chain for Work in Progress and Chain. Come join us. We have a lot of fun over there. Maggie does a lot over there. She does monthly drawings. People are posting their work, getting ideas. We're going to be doing a 12 days of Christmas projects. It's loads of fun. So here are my last 2 stitches. When you're done, you just chain 1 and you cut your work, cut your yarn. Now remember, I do recommend that you keep these stitches in the center end, but when you're done this one, you don't need that no more. Take it out, and when you lay it flat, this is how it'll look. Isn't that a beautiful seam? And again, now you don't have to stress about your spot where you started and you ended your work. All right, get prepared. Our next step is going to be working on the inside of this. You can use whatever color yarn you want. You can use the green. You can use whatever color you used. I'm seriously thinking about using this multicolor yarn. I love it, and I think it might just bring it out. Instead of just going with the plain green, maybe I should jazz it up a little bit. All right, we will be back to do that. Okay, we're going to start our first row of doing the final touches on your beautiful Christmas skirt. Now make sure you're on the first square and they have to be facing you. The right side has to be facing you, okay? So we're working on the right side. So this first row is quite simple. I'm going to show you how to get started, and then I'll meet you for the next row. So you start with your normal slip knot. We will be working only in the back loops, okay? So in your corner where you had your 2 single crochets here and here, go into the one that's closest to you on the left, the one that's closer to the full project, not the one away. All right. And make sure you're working in just the back loop only. Bring your hook through and do 1 chain. All right. Now these first 2, we're going to do a single crochet 2 together. So you go in your starting loop again, grab some yarn, come on up, go into your second stitch, bring up some yarn, wrap, and go through all 3 loops. Then we're just going to single crochet in the remaining loops on this first square. Just single crochet. Take your time. I'm just covering up my tail, so it's one less thing I have to worry about later. Now I can cut that later. Let's keep going. Single crochet your first square all the way down, but do not crochet in the last stitch of this first square. All right. All right. The life of having animals, wouldn't trade them for anything. Anyway, okay, so now we're going to do single crochet 3 together, but there's a but here. One of the stitches on it is going to be in this joining here. Okay, so put your crochet hook in the first stitch in the back of your last stitch. Grab some yarn, bring it up. Now, in the center here, I want you just go right in the center of your join. Grab some yarn and bring it up. Now, go in to your first stitch on your second square, back loop only, remember. Bring up some yarn. I can take that stitch marker out. Wrap. You go through all your loops. Like that. So now you're going to just single crochet across, do the 3 together, single crochet 3 together all the way to your last square. When you're on the last square, your last 2 stitches are single crochet 2 together. We started with a single crochet 2 together, came down, did a single crochet 3 together, and then it's single crochet, then your last 3, single crochet 3 together, so forth. but your last 2 stitches on the very end will be single crochet 2 together. And I'm going to meet you at the end and we'll start round 2. Okay, row 2. What I need you to do is chain 1, put in 25 single crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, not 25, 24. I think, let me look here. Yeah, 24 on this one, I apologize. 24, and then you're going to do a 3 together single crochet. 1, 2, and 3, and all together. Now you do, that's where I was messing up. Now you do 25 single crochets, then you do 3 together. So it's always going to be 25, 3 together, 25, 3 together until your last hexagon, your last single crochets will be 24. So it's 24 at the beginning, 24 at the end, 25 through the center, and a 3 together in between each one. I'll meet you for round 3. Okay, row 3. We are going to chain 1, put single crochet in the next 22 stitches. Nineteen, 20, 21, and 22. 2, 3, 4. Let me see what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Well, I have an extra stitch or something going on. So you want to single crochet yourself down to 2 before the center, like that. And then you want to join the 3 together. So it's always going to be 2 before you hit the center join. From my directions, it should have been 22 stitches, but mine was like 25 stitches. The rest of these should work out pretty good. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so the first and the last would be 25 stitches. And then you do your 3 together. And then regular crochet and 22, do your 3 together, 22 and do your 3 together. And then I will see you back for row 4. There's only 5 rows, so we're almost there. Okay, I'm excited how this is turning out. I'm glad I chose the multicolor. I can't wait to see your designs. All right, 4th row. We're on a chain 1. We're on a single crochet our way down till 2 before the center. And then you know what to do. Single crochet, 3 together. And that's what you're going to keep doing until you get to the end, and then I will see you for the last row. Okay, 5th row, final. We do this and you're done. Then that's done. We're going to be doing one more row of what we have been doing. So you're going to chain 1 and you're just going to single crochet your way over to 2 before your center. Then you're going to do a 3 together, single crochet, and you keep doing that into the end. And then you have made an absolutely beautiful tree skirt for your Christmas tree this year, for your holiday tree. You can make these for your Easter trees. I see a lot of Easter trees lately. Any tree that you have, you can make it. You can make it in any colors that you want. And again, do not join the last 2 unless you plan to put it on your tree stand before you put your tree in the stand. And that is how you make this beautiful, beautiful tree skirt. So I just want to come to the first one so you guys can see. 2 before the center, and you do a 3 together, single crochet, and then you just keep doing it to the end. And then this will go around your tree absolutely beautifully. And please come find us on Facebook. We're under Whip and Chain for Work in Progress and Chain. And we are on TikTok, Whip and Chain. We're on Instagram. And we're on YouTube. So come join us. Come follow the fun crochet videos that we're doing. And if you could help us out by hitting that like and subscribe button at the bottom, we'd greatly appreciate it. Till our next video, guys, happy crocheting. And please remember, if there's anything in crocheting that you're struggling with, send a request through our Facebook page or even on our YouTube if you want to see something that we haven't done. And I'll be more than happy to do a video for you and get that out as soon as possible. Happy holidays!